and welcome to my TV show recaps. I do weekly reviews on scripted shows, reality TV, and trending topics. If you're interested, please click the subscribe button, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, all at my TV show recaps. So we're right along to episode 2 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. So we jump straight into the opening scene with Sonia. This is where she explains to us that she has 9 people living in her house. She also tells us that her sister is her stylist, her hairstylist. For me, 9 people living in your house is a lot. Just having that family dynamic can cause a little bit of chaos. And I'm sure that as the season progresses, we're going to really dive right into her family dynamic. So I think that she's going to have an interesting storyline this season, and I look forward to watching it. So the next scene, we move on to Sheree, and we see her at her mansion, Chateau Sheree. And I must say, guys, her house is incredible. I was pleasantly surprised and really happy for her that she was able to put this whole house together. Remember when the ladies used to go to her empty lot and run around in the dirt, like making fun of her? This to me is such an improvement, and it's a good sign. So we sort of see Sheree in the kitchen getting ready to receive Kenya with her mom. Do you guys remember when Sheree's mom went missing, I guess during the pandemic? I've always wondered how her mom was found. I mean, I'm happy she was found, but kind of what was the backstory behind So Kenya finally arrived, and the producers actually gave us a flashback of when Kenya trespassed into Sheree's basement. They showed us the basement when it was unfinished, and then they flashed forward to now, showing us the basement completed. And I must say, this basement looks completely different, and it looks really good. Sheree, I must say, has an eye for interior design. Not so much for her fashions, but I'll give her an 8 out of 10 for interior design. So the ladies sit down and they get to chit-chatting about Marlo's event. And this is where Sheree, the bone carrier, starts to give Kenya the tea. So she just basically starts to tell Kenya about how Marlo has been gossiping about her, saying that Marlo said that, you lived in an apartment with a white refrigerator, that she borrowed a Range Rover from Lisa Ray. And I'm just like, why would Marlo use Nene's old reads? I mean, the white refrigerator comment was a comment that Nene used to make fun of Kenya. I'm just like, Marlo girl, now that you have your peach, you need to start, making your own reads and not copying off of what Nene said 90 years ago. Now, Kenya did read Marlo when she said that she had a chia pet surgery as her hair transplant surgery. I sort of laughed at that because I sort of had the same thought that Kenya had, because I was wondering why Marlo would have a hair transplant surgery and instantly start wearing lace front on her new growth. So anyways, the real reason why Kenya came to see Sheree was to give her the tea that Drew actually told her that both her and Sheree share an assistant, Anthony. And apparently Anthony was being messy by telling Drew that Sheree doesn't even pay her staff. Now, as Kenya was saying this, Sheree wasn't even trying to form a case for herself. She just sat there and listened. Now, Sheree has been known to sort of not pay some of her employees. So I'm not surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony was telling the truth about Sheree not paying her staff, allegedly. So we move on to the next scene, and Candy has a production on Broadway. It is actually doing pretty well. It is the first all-black production to be on Broadway, and she's extremely proud to have that under her belt. Todd, on the other hand, walks in and he says he's going to Miami to hang out with his friends, I guess. And I'm like, why are you hanging out in Miami when you should be helping your wife, the breadwinner, sort of take care of her business and run her businesses? To me, it seems as though if Todd doesn't have a direct hand in one of Candy's business, he doesn't care to help her with it. Sort of like if his name isn't on it, he really doesn't care. We also find out that Todd has a condo in New Jersey that he had bought with his ex-girlfriend. Now, I don't know how buying property works, but I don't know how he bought it with his ex-girlfriend, but she's no longer part owner of the house. So my question is, when Todd goes to New York or New Jersey, does he actually stay in this condo? Like, who is currently staying in this condo? Is he letting his daughter stay in the condo? I mean, I doubt he's letting his daughter stay in the condo because I'm not sure Todd has a good relationship with his kid. But I would like to know the tea. So next we have Marlo going to visit Candy at the candy factory. And we get her talking to the driver, asking him, oh, is this area a rough area? And the driver says, yeah, it's a pretty rough area. And Marlo says, yeah, that's why she has such a huge fence. And I'm like, Marlo, don't you have 9 mugshots on the internet? Relax. So we see Candy getting her photo shoot done for her Halloween party, and then her and Marlo sit down and they begin to chat. So Marlo asks Candy sort of like for advice as because she's sort of wondering if she's spoiling her nephews. And then Candy made a really good point by saying that, just because you're black doesn't mean that you have to come from the trenches or whatever. And I totally agree with what Candy is saying. And then all of a sudden, we get Marlo telling Candy that she thinks that Candy's not a good friend, that Candy has not been a good friend to her. And I was like, Marlo, you've literally been coming for Candy for like 7 seasons straight. I mean, you make fun of her for being a sugar mama, for taking care of men, you make fun of her height. I feel like this is a very Nene move on Marlo's part. Nene is the main one who complains that people are not good friends to her. And Candy sort of tells her that, hey, you sort of have to be the friend that you want to other people. And I totally agree with Candy. So all the husbands meet up at Blaze, and this is where we have Ralph sort of like laying the groundwork for his storyline with this assistant. So he begins to talk more about the massage and the texts, and to be honest, when the guys heard his side of the story, it seemed like they didn't believe him. And for me, that's just like the telltale sign of everyone knowing that Drew and Ralph are sort of this plotline queens on this show. So next we have Drew getting ready for this date that Ralph has planned for both of them. So I guess Ralph or one of these 3 stylists picked the dress. I can tell that none of them like Drew because this dress is so hideous. It looks like she's going to Dancing with the Stars or some sort of bad ice capade tournament. I mean, her butt cheeks were literally hanging out of the dress. So she met with Ralph for a romantic dinner, and this is where they begin to lay the pipework for their story. The chef comes out with food that looks like it's being served in a dog bowl, but the food kind of looked tasty though. So in classic Ralph and Drew fashion, they start to argue about nothing. She then begins to fake cry, and I just can't take them seriously. I feel like they both rehearsed this scene and they both knew when to get up, when to walk away. And if you look at the final shot, Drew comes back to the table to sit alone, so she can sort of like be filmed sitting alone eating. I just feel like all of this is so rehearsed, so planned, so well thought out by them that they are such an inauthentic couple. They should really try to be on Love and Marriage Boot Camp and not on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. They just don't fit. Please subscribe and comment down below what you think of Drew and Ralph's storyline. Do you guys think that they should actually still be on the show? Comment down below and let me know. If you enjoyed this content, please give it a thumbs up, share, comment below, and subscribe to the channel.